Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in. Today I'm doing a fresh flower bouquet tutorial here. So I'm going to be putting together a traditional roundy, moundy, hand-tied bouquet. I start off by prepping all my flowers. I have some roses, different mums, mini carnations, and a variety of greens. I'm going to remove the guard petals from the roses. Those are just the outside petals that kind of take the brunt of the abuse as they get transferred here and there. Not all roses have the guard petal, or will have a lot of guard petals. Some might just have one, or they might not even have any. Just basically removing the damaged petals from the outside. Save the petals though. And then I broke down some of my mums into kind of bite-sized chunks. I'm removing all the leaves off the stems so that the bouquet is not slippery in your hands and it does not stain your hands. So that's the important part. I did separate some of my carnations. And then there is some lovely lily grass that I got. It's a variegated and a solid color lily grass. So I started off with one of the roses. Bulk of my flowers is basically roses. I think it was a dozen in there. And then I just have about 6 or so assorted mums. I'm using the white mums in the center around my rose there because that's going to be my brightest flower. Although I want my rose to be the focal point, it's a little bit more of a laid back color in comparison to the tiny white mums. So I'm just going to surround my rose as to make it more predominant and keep the focal right into the center of the bouquet. That way, as people view the bouquet, they just want to stare at it because that focal will draw them right in. And then I work in a little bit of the mini carnations and then some more of the roses. So the trick with a hand-tied bouquet is to make all the stems spiral out in the same direction. So I've seen a few bouquets where people have purchased flowers from the local store or flower shop and arranged the bouquet themselves, which is awesome, and I encourage doing that. However, they'll arrange them by standing the stems up side by side, one right next to each other. If you go in at an angle, that will give you your shape. So as you see as I go along here, how all the not just carnations, but the mums and the roses, I'm going to bring them in at an angle, and that pushes everything out. And it's going to, like I said before, spiral right around, all in the same direction. And by keeping them pointing in the same direction, it keeps them balanced. It keeps that one center point, that one focal point, right there, so you get that really nice round rhythmic, almost like just a nice pattern arrangement. When you have a break in the movement, if they were to go in opposite directions, it's a little harder to break your eye from that point of intersection. You can see I am pulling a carnation through the center there, but it's right through the center, so that's going to be straight down, so I don't have to worry about the pivot point. But as you can see, you can watch me bring in the flowers. The lower down to the collar they are, the more high up they're going to go. And then, of course, if you were to arrange a cascading bouquet, it's going to go even more at an angle as it points down. So when you have silk flowers, it's a little easier to get away with this stuff because you can kind of bend the heads and bend the stems in the direction that you want them to go. Still trying to keep that same pivot point in your hand with all the stems going the same way, so you don't have that break in the pattern of stems going around. However, with the fresh flowers, you can't just simply bend the heads, unfortunately, because they just fall right off. So going in at that angle is really key. So I do like this color combination, especially this time of year where it's a bit frosty out. We're past the holidays, though. So by using this cold color palette, using cool colors, the greens, the blues, the whites, it just seems appropriate for kind of January, February weddings or special occasions. And then to give it a little bit of interest, I'm using the variegated lily grass. I'm going to make some loops on the outside there. If the lily grass does not make it in the water overnight, if you do your bouquet ahead of time, that's okay. It's a hardy green. It's not going to wilt. So I'm completely confident that these loops will hold up even if they don't make it into the water. The other flowers, not so sure about. So you want to make sure that those are long enough to get into the water, especially the roses. They're going to need a good drink if you are doing it a day ahead of time or so. And then once I have my loops, I'm just going to kind of work them in and out and around the collar. And then I've got about 3 of this greenery here that I'm just going to kind of put equally around the base of it. And again, that just kind of helps hide the mechanics and just kind of finishes off the edge of the bouquet. And once I have everything pretty much where I want it, I'm going to take a green chenille stem and I will just wrap it around all the flowers. I'll pull it real tight, and I'll end up using a couple of these just to make sure everything holds nice and tight. I measure about 2 of my hands down for the stem, and then I'll trim it up. But there we go. There's a fresh flower tutorial for you. Thank you so much for watching.